What is going on, everybody? This is Mega from Mega X Anime's X Openings, and welcome to a very special video. In welcome to the very first of a series of tutorials where I show you how to make a, a visual novel. Now, in this tutorial series, we're gonna be I'm gonna be using the the program Ren'py, which is a free visual novel engine. As I just mentioned, Ren'py is a free visual novel engine that comes with everything you need to make a visual novel. It comes with the script, all the script files, and everything to put it together. Now, the thing with Ren'py is that it does use Python programming, so you do need to have a little bit of a grasp of Python programming, but Python is an extremely easy program to learn. I mean, programming language to learn. So I didn't even use Python. I mean, I didn't even go to school for Python programming, and I've been able to get by just fine. So it's not that difficult of a programming language to learn. Now so let's jump right into it. To to start, first of all, you're obviously gonna need to download Ren'py if you don't have it installed. Once you have it installed, you're gonna go to create new project. I've already created my project due to some problems I was having earlier while trying to record this video. So once you click on create new project, it's gonna ask you to name your game. Once you name it, and then it will ask you what language you want the game in. I selected English when I did this step, and then it's gonna ask you what template you want to use. The template is basically just the how you want the main menu to look, and like the menus are when the user saves the game or exits the game or even enters preferences. This can be changed later on, but which I will be covering in a later video. But for now, like I would recommend just choosing like any template that you like. So once you create it, the Ren'py will by default save the game folder on the desktop. But you don't want this because firstly, I don't think it'll even show up in your project if it's on the desktop. So what you want to do is you want to actually drag and drop the game folder into your Ren'py folder, which I have saved in my in my in my main computer folder. Once you drag it and drop it, and as you can see, my game folder is right here. Once you drag and drop it into the Ren'py folder, it should appear right here, and you'll be able to program it. So before we go into actual programming, let me show you what the game looks like without any changes. So okay, so here we are. This is what the game currently looks like. As you can see right here, there's it says Discord, which is what I named the game. Take note of this. This is called the config.name area, I believe. So take note of that. If we go over to preferences, we see we have just a general general stuff for like a visual novel. And then if you click on help, it just opens readme.html that's in your game folder. So let's start the game. And as you can see, it has a checkered background, which means that there's no background and there's no music, and you have just a general text box for a character named Eileen, which says you've created a Ren'py game. Once you add a story, pictures, and music, you can release it to the world, and that's the end of the game. As you can see, if you don't add anything, it's not really much of a game. So let's close the game, and I've already taken the liberty of opening up all the script files. So here they are. This is the script.ren'py file, which is the most important file that it comes with. It's where you do the majority of your program. It's where you add your sprites, you add your characters, you add your background images here, your music here, and it's also where you add text to your text boxes, and you create your choices here, and your mm, and you do any animations that you want to do in script.renpy as well. So you'll notice that some lines have red text. That's what's called, those are comments which aren't read by Ren'py. They're just for the programmer. They just tell you where, they're just like little comments that help you to like understand where everything goes. Take note of label, because this is very important, because everything in Ren'py is organized into labels. It's basically the same thing as in object-oriented programming, where everything is organized into classes. It's the same thing. For Let's, for example, let's say I have a uh, a a game called Student, and I have several scenes of the student going to school. I would have a label called label going to school, for example, and all the scenes that have the character going to school would be, I would place it under the going to school label. Okay, so now moving on to screens. I almost forgot. Also take note of return. Well, what return does is that it brings you, it, it brings the game to an end, to an end. And anytime you have return, that means the end of the game. So you want to make sure that whenever you want to end the game, you always end, the last thing you type is return. Okay, going on to screens, I wouldn't even touch this, mm, because this is just like to actually put together the game, and so I wouldn't touch this at all, because I don't like to mess with this, because if you mess with it, you could probably break the game. Going over to options, this is where you have like the general game options. Mm, This is where you have this right here controls how big the game is. I would keep it up at 800 by 600, just so like it's, mm, because that's actually the largest size you can make a Ren'py game. Window title, which is what I was talking about earlier, is well, whatever you put in here is what the window title is, which is right here on the game. So whatever you put in here is what the game is called. Config.name and config.version is for errors. Well, whenever you get an error, if I was to get an error right now, it would say Discord version 0.0 got a syntax error or something like that. I I would I would and if I change this to let's say version 0.1, it would say Discord syntax error version 0.1. So you can change the version to whatever you want, and you can name it whatever you want as well. Themes are what you use to actually create the game when you did the when you actually made the game, which was the template. You can modify the theme to whatever you want, but excuse me. But I'm gonna cover this later on. So fonts, you can change the font to however you want. Padding, you can make texts inside text boxes padding to like move it over if you need to. You can change how the main menu looks here. You can change the text font here as well. This is for if you want music or sound in your game. Help to you can change this right here to tell Ren'py what to open when the user clicks help. Transitions, very important. They make your game look very smooth. So I'll be covering transitions later on. I save directory I wouldn't touch, because this is where Ren'py saves. Well, when the user saves a game, it's where the Ren'py saves the file. I wouldn't touch this because I don't like to touch it because I don't want to break the game. Preferences, you can change how the preferences look, and this is like change the text speed if you want to. And here you can add more customizations if needed. So yeah, that's basically it. That's everything that we can I can show you in this tutorial. Next time, I guess I'll be covering just basically starting to put the game together. So this has been Mega from Mega X Anime's X Openings, and I will see you again next time.